Hi guys, welcome to our Montessori workshop on fostering independence from infancy through toddlerhood. I am so excited to have you guys here today because after over a decade of helping thousands of parents and caregivers implement these exact tactics, I can confidently say that once you implement them at home for yourself with your baby, you will have a truly transformed experience for both you and baby. So let's jump right in. So today we'll be learning about what fostering independence means in Montessori, what fostering independence means with infants and toddlers, how to foster independence at each major milestone from birth through toddlerhood, and whether or not it aligns with baby development research. So make sure to stay till the end. This workshop is under 30 minutes, and at the end you'll be getting a special gift that I only offer to workshop attendees. Also, this workshop has a corresponding workbook that you could download either straight to your computer to type directly on the PDF to take notes, or you could also always print it out and grab a pen and write that way. So for some encouragement and inspiration, I thought I would start with a quote of one of the parents that I worked with. Jeremy said, "We are regularly told that our kids are advanced for their ages, and we couldn't be happier with the Montessori learning experiences she offered us." So imagine this. It is a beautiful, crisp morning. The birds are chirping, the sun is peeking through the window, the wind is making the tree branches dance, and your baby is observing those branches when they notice you've just finished cooking breakfast. So you set it on their low table and they excitedly speed crawl over. We pull out their chair, help them sit down, push their body to the table, and they begin to eat. You join your sweet baby with your breakfast, maybe your much deserved cup of coffee or tea, whichever you prefer, and you both enjoy a peaceful, beautiful meal together. As someone who is implementing Montessori at home with their baby, so I am currently implementing Montessori with my baby as well, these free, child-led, just beautiful connected moments happen really all day long, and so I'm just really excited for you guys to experience it too. Fostering independence is a Montessori pillar and principle, and so I do want to make sure that you're aligned and making the most informed decisions possible and the best decisions for your baby, yourself, and your family. So this is right for you if you want to lay an intentional foundation that will set them up as a self-driven lifelong learner, if you want to lay healthy habits versus undo harder habits to break later on, if you want to discover the peace, confidence, and preparedness that Montessori can bring, if you want to optimize your baby's unique progression of development with a purposeful, child-led parenting approach, and of course to give them the best start to life that you possibly can, then you are absolutely in the right place. I want to note, even before we jump into our topic, that if you want this for yourself and for your baby, you can absolutely have it. You can totally do this. You can evolve and transform your home experience to that slower, simple, child-led experience if that's what you want. Before we start, I thought I would introduce myself. So hi, I'm Bianca. I'm most known as the host of the Montessori Babies podcast. I'm currently a Montessori Babies consultant, coach, blogger at babytourguide.com. And I'm a Montessori mommy to just the sweetest boy ever, but I absolutely didn't start here. When I first started in the field, I had no idea what Montessori for infants and toddlers meant. But what I knew is that babies grow and learn super quickly. I wanted to learn about that growth to support them as much as possible, and I wanted to help lay a solid foundation that'll support the rest of their education and life. And if that sounds familiar, I feel you. I was absolutely there too. So what I did was learn as much as I could about babies, how they grow, and how to support their educational experiences from birth. So I got my AMI International Montessori certification from birth to 3. I got my bachelor's in child development, and I got my master's degree in Montessori education. At this point, I have spent well over a decade working with babies, toddlers, their wonderful parents, and caregivers. I ran my own Montessori infant classroom, otherwise known as a Nido, for many years. I taught parent and child classes, so Montessori Mommy and Me. I taught at parent education events. I also educated prospective families on Montessori, working in admissions, and now I help parents and caregivers optimize baby development through a Montessori lens any way I can. After all these years, I can confidently say that Montessori can truly transform parenthood. Taking this approach from birth to toddlerhood and beyond can bring confidence and empowerment to your parenting, bring simple joys back into your day, transform your entire perspective on how babies and toddlers grow, help you let go of anxieties and expectations, and set your baby up as a self-driven lifelong learner. So now let's jump into it. How to foster independence from infancy to Toddlerhood. So we're going to start by addressing your perspective. So in the workshop workbook, I want you to write down what you think of when you think of a baby, or type if you decided to type. So a couple words that describe either your baby or a baby, any baby. What do you think of when you think of an infant? What adjectives pop into your head? And I will give you a couple seconds to write these down. So most people think things like precious, cute, squishy, giggly, new baby smell, soft, funny, loud, maybe demanding sometimes, right? And while these are all so true and babies are just the squishiest, cutest little humans ever, I would love for you to add words like capable, powerful, driven, limitless, constant observer, hard worker, and on a fierce mission and drive to learn about their new world. You will hear me say this phrase a lot. So why don't we immediately think of those empowering words when we think of our sweet babies? Up until the mid-1900s, there was a belief that babies were pretty much just cute little blobs, essentially. Of course, we would meet their needs and care for them and fiercely love them, but the idea was to wait to teach them until they could, in their eyes, learn things, right? People would get genuinely excited for when the day came that they could learn something. But when the child development research field started picking up, they started observing and learning that babies and young toddlers were so much more capable than we ever gave them credit for. And we continue to learn more and more about this every day. So what I want you to do is to challenge your own perspective and bias from society, from our cultures, from what we learned from our parents, and just preconceived notions of what we may think. Because when we let go of those limitations that we may place on our mentality, they do too. And they get to grow up in a home where the person they're learning from the most has this deep belief that they are just truly capable humans and that they can do anything they put their mind to. So Dr. Montessori said, the development of the child during the first 3 years after birth is unequaled in intensity and importance by any period that precedes or follows in the whole life of the child. And after over a decade of field experience with hundreds of beautiful babies, I can tell you that this is unequivocally true. We now know that infancy sees the fastest rate of brain development of their entire life. Their brain doubles in size during the first year, and it reaches near adult size at 3 years old. One idea that we've learned in the child development field is that your perspective of your child has the strongest influence of what your child will believe in themselves later on. And that's just something important to keep in mind. So now, what is fostering independence in infants and young toddlers? So I do want to clear up the confusion because fostering independence in infancy is not pushing baby to be independent from us. Babies are fully and beautifully dependent. In fact, we honor their dependent stage by fostering independence. So what does it mean? Fostering independence means involving your baby in just about everything as developmentally appropriate and driven by them. So to expand on this idea, and you'll want to make a mental note of this or highlight it in your workbook, babies have a natural drive to learn about their world. This is what pushes them to explore literally everything and why we as their parents can be really tired in making sure that they're safe and okay, right? But they're driven to not only explore, but they observe us and they absorb everything that they see us do. And I mean everything, not just showing them how to play with their toys, but everything around the house, the cooking, the cleaning, the laundry, so everything. And more often than not, it's our limiting belief of what babies are capable of that prevents us from letting them get involved, try to feed themselves or wipe the table. Maybe they're reaching for the cloth as you wipe the table. These are all things that babies commonly reach for and more often than not aren't included, right? But what's amazing is in Montessori, we treat our babies like capable members of their communities from the start, and we involve them as developmentally appropriate. And let me tell you, what this does to an infant who is learning about who they are to the world and who the world is to them is just priceless. It creates one of the most empowering starts to life that we can offer them, and you will see it in their expression and the way they move throughout their space and the way that they welcome others into their space. It is just truly magical. So now the how, right? How are we going to include them at each major stage from infancy to toddlerhood? The first step at any stage is to slow down. I will be the first to admit that the life of a parent or caregiver or teacher is so fast. I have held all those roles and they are very fast and they're busy and they're so beautiful in their own ways. But that means we need to actively be conscious about slowing down around our babies whenever possible. I also know that sometimes we have to just get things done, but as often as possible, slowing down, observing baby, and including them as developmentally appropriate will do wonders for all areas of development, including things like attachment, how they see themselves, and how they relate to the world around them. So now, how do we foster independence with the non-mobile baby? At this tender stage, we are laying foundations of independence, right? They are fully dependent, squishy, cute newborns at the beginning, but from the start, we treat them as capable humans. And we do that simply by talking to them like they are and using observation to follow their inner will to learn. So, for example, in the newborn phase, before they intentionally reach, which happens around 3 months, you're going to use language and inclusion to lay that foundation of independence. So something as simple as verbally letting them know, you pooped. I'm going to pick you up and go and change your diaper. Okay, I'm picking up your body. We're walking to the bathroom, the bathroom, the bathroom. Oh, we made it to your changing table. I'm laying your body down on the changing table, and so on and so on. Just kind of continuing to let them know what's going on. Because that type of language offers respect for their body, because you're letting them know, what you're going to do instead of kind of lugging them around. You're offering language, you're including them, and it's all sorts of connectedness, right? The connection is what drives this type of interaction, which is also amazing for attachment. So once baby reaches, which is again right around 3 months, depending on the child, you can do things like if they reach for their bottle, let them try to hold it. They may need it supported, kind of depending on the weight of the bottle. But if you let them try to hold it, they do hold it. You're there helping them, and you're offering that language. Oh, you're holding your bottle. Wow, you're doing it by yourself. That's just a really empowering, little moment of independence, right? So if they're reaching for their diaper, you could try to let them open it or even choose a diaper, give them a directed choice. Do you want the diaper with the hearts or the stars? And you kind of let them choose, and oh, you chose the hearts. Let's open it up. One side, 2 sides, just kind of letting them know what's happening and including them in the process. You can also let them pull a wipe out of the wipe dispenser. That's another way to include them. And then on moments where they're playing, they're having some floor time, you can place a grasping material just out of reach so they can use their will to kind of wiggle and grab it. Of course, this whole time, like I mentioned, offering that language and including them is a multi-layered way of laying these foundations of independence and empowerment. So now for the sitting, slithering, crawling, and cruising baby. This age is so fun because your infant is now in that mobile, interactive, super fun baby phase, right? They're the baby phase. They are really fun to just giggle with at this age. They love playing peekaboo and stuff like that. So in the fostering independence area, with a baby at this age, again, it's all about following their inner will. I will also add that when your baby's a stable sitter, they have a new level of independence because they have both hands free to explore, right? And when they become mobile, it's another level of independence because they're now able to move, drive themselves to whatever they want to explore with their little scientist minds, So now, the specific examples I'm going to give you of how to foster independence with babies is going to be sectioned by need or transition. And you also have these listed in your workbook. So during diaper changes, I encourage you to offer directed choices like we spoke about earlier. So a choice between 2 diapers, label, describe the diaper they chose so they can associate the language to the description. Let them hold and open the diaper and pull out wipes. You can also stand up diaper. So this is a super tool that I use all of the time. It's safe to do when they're pulling up to a stand, and that's another way to kind of get them involved because there's a lot more involvement when they're standing. During baby-led feeding, so letting them feed themselves because they are fully capable to feed themselves, open cup drinking is not only letting them try to do the same type of drinking that they see us do, but it's a developmental milestone that aids in speech development, and there's a lot of great research on open cup drinking. You can also have them help wipe up spills. You would be so surprised at how early they can get involved in this. So during their daily routines, in the flow of their space, you can have them choose a book, right? Take turns to brush teeth. That's something my son and I do every morning and night. We brush our teeth together, and I take a turn helping him brush his teeth as well. Directed choice to choose their clothing in the morning, and then choose materials to work with off the shelf or in isolated space for their toys where they can drive themselves to the materials. You can also give them directed choices between materials or special toys or items that you have for them to work with. During their milk feedings, if they're bottle fed, you can let them hold the bottle if they reach for it. They can also try to grab or set the bottle on a side table. That's a really fun one. And then just a huge tip that I have is to sportscast everything, because it offers language, also teaches respect for their body, and is just incredible for hitting a lot of different areas of development. So now on to our young toddlers. So Dr. Montessori considered the walking baby a young toddler. So I use these terms interchangeably, especially since, of course, as a mom, our young toddler is forever our baby, right? Anyway, once they're walking babies, they truly have this incredible new level of independence. They have both hands free whilst being mobile, and they're in a new phase of development where they naturally seek higher levels of autonomy and inclusion in their community. Young toddlerhood is also such a fun time because our babies rapidly settle into these fun and new personalities. They test boundaries a lot more, and with that comes some really fun and funny moments too. So in fostering independence with your little toddlers, you'll be doing things like during diaper changes and dressing and undressing, you can include them by having them choose their diaper, their clothes. Really, directed choices are key during this time. Have them choose between two objects or items as much as you can. During diaper changes and dressing and undressing, you can have them choose like their diapers and clothes via directed choice. Let them hold and open diapers and pull out wipes, stand-up diapering, and offering the toilet whenever they show interest. You can set out a little low potty to offer during this phase, and it's really fun to watch them come into consciousness about this process. Also during feedings, you can continue on with baby-led feeding with utensils, continue on with open cup drinking, and at this stage, you can get them involved in setting up the table and cleaning up after meals. They can also be involved in their environment a lot more at this stage. They can get involved in cleaning and in organizing, in laundry, so they can pull the laundry out of the basket. You can have them do things like sort different piles. They can also help with folding. You can also eventually get them involved in rearranging if you end up rearranging your room. So during their work time, which is a play time, right? Because Montessori considered play as the work of the child because they're learning and they're constructing themselves during their play. Leaving the toys out so your child has access is a really wonderful way to include that fostering independence pillar with the young toddler. Also showing them how to remove and replace the material from whatever space you have as a part of their lesson, or how you show them to use it, is really helpful, and giving them the tools to set up and organize, their toys and be involved in their space and with their materials in that way. So during transitions, what I mean by transition, meaning, getting ready to go outside or coming back in, or, getting ready to go down for a nap, or just kind of you're moving from one activity or space to the next. Offer directed choices. They are just key for this stage of development and really empowering during a time where they seek autonomy. Offering consistent limits and boundaries leads to safety, because at this time they're testing their boundaries and their limits. Some kids harder than others depending on their temperament, but essentially the lovingly firm boundaries help them feel safe and secure. Also during this stage, they can get involved in cooking, and it is so fun. So in the kitchen, they can get involved in ways like scooping, mixing, pouring, directed choices for food options. I actually get my son involved in a lot of different cooking decisions. I'll say, do you want peas or carrots in our pasta tonight? And I kind of give him a choice between the two. I hold the two out and he chooses one, kind of thing. And of course, this isn't every night, but as often as possible, I'm including him. They can also be your taste tester. Of course, you want to make sure that whatever they're tasting isn't too hot. But these are all just really fun ways to get them involved and included from young toddlerhood. I also want to note the importance of movement in fostering independence in infants and toddlers. Movement allows the child to freely and effortlessly drive themselves to their prepared space. It allows a developmentally appropriate freedom and involvement that's essential for fostering independence the Montessori way. So does fostering independence align with baby development research? The answer is a big yes. And I can attest to this because I also have a background and degree in child development. By involving your baby as much as possible, you have so many opportunities for connection to support each area of development and to truly be present and connected with your baby. And when you foster independence, you will witness an empowered baby and discover yourself as an empowered parent. You'll be offering baby a genuinely peaceful, child-led learning experience, and you'll be transforming your own experience because you'll be flowing with yourself and the natural rhythm of your baby's development and your space. Plus, you'll have a deep comfort and confidence in knowing that you're laying a rock-solid foundation during their most important years of development with benefits that will last a lifetime. And all of this effort shows baby that we think they're capable. We respect them. We include them. They are an equal member of the family. We also show them how to expect others to treat them, right? And how to treat others. And what we know is that how we treat them and speak to them later becomes their inner voice. So that's just another piece to note, maybe highlight or write it down just so you can remember that later on. So you have totally got this. Now that you know how to foster independence with your baby, try it as often as you can, slow down, include them, and just let them try whenever possible. I cannot wait for you to experience those aha moments from baby and you're excited, oh my gosh, you did it, parent moments, because truly they are so much more capable than we think. So now I'm going to tell you a Montessori secret that no one talks about. Implementing Montessori at home with baby is far less about the types of toys and Montessori furniture that you see on social media and way more about living by the Montessori principles and pillars. This is why parents can have all the toys and furniture and still not experience the peace and empowerment from the Montessori approach. So you're probably thinking, well, what do you need, right? So this is what you need. This Montessori equation is the way that I look at it, but it is exactly what you need to create a Montessori experience that will both optimize your baby's development during their most crucial years and simultaneously transform your own experience to empowered, purposeful, and prepared as their parent and guide. And I might add that this equation is what can bring that Montessori peace for you, your child, and your entire family and community. It all starts with you learning how to prepare yourself as best as you can as their parent and guide. Then you live by the pillars of Montessori, honoring your baby by infusing these elements into everything you do. You learn how to prepare the home space for optimized learning opportunities, both offer freedom and have limits, honor sensitive periods of development, foster independence, which you now know how to do, follow your child, and work with the purposeful Montessori material progression as much as you can. And the piece that I learned throughout my time in the field, running a classroom myself, that is just as essential as the rest, is knowing what to expect in these first couple years of development is also just as essential. And once all of this comes together, you'll truly get to experience that Montessori magic, those self-driven, just empowered moments for your baby and for yourself in your home. So what if I told you that I could offer you all of the elements to this Montessori equation? And now what if I told you that you could achieve that Montessori baby experience with just 10 minutes of your time per day? That's exactly why I created and am currently teaching my Montessori Babies course. This course is my bread and butter in an international community of just incredible mothers and caregivers and educators who are all on the same mission and path of optimizing babies' development and transforming our own experiences along the way. So this course is for you if you are an expectant parent, a new parent, or work with babies birth through young toddler. You want to experience the peaceful Montessori parenting approach, and you are a visual or auditory learner, because that's how it's set up, and you want to stop researching and spend more time present and connected with baby. I will say that once you have all the equation pieces laid out for you, you have the tools to implement Montessori in your home in a way that works for you, your baby, your family, and your lifestyle during the most crucial stage of their development. I'm so passionate about advocating for our tiniest humans because of what's happening in their development and the effects that it has on their entire life's trajectory. In the child development field, we continue to learn about the incredible opportunity we have to create a foundation that will set them up as lifelong learners. So here are some baby facts to consider for inspiration. Babies make 1 million mental connections per second, so they're literally always learning. Their brains double in size during their first year, And around age 3, they actually lose all the connections they don't use through a process called pruning. The Center on the Developing Child at Harvard University said, healthy development in the early years, particularly birth to 3, provides the building blocks for educational achievement, economic productivity, responsible citizenship, lifelong health, strong communities, and successful parenting of the next generation. I will also note that what makes this course unique is that it's tailored to you. We begin by preparing your approach and mindset, and I made each lesson info-packed in just around 10 minutes because as I was building it, I was keeping in mind your precious time as an expectant or new parent or caregiver. So to give you a peek at the modules of our course, these modules are aimed at transforming your perspective of infants by learning about infant development and those Montessori pillars we discussed in that equation we just saw. So you have modules on understanding infant and toddler development, and then understanding Montessori pedagogy and how it applies to early infancy and toddlerhood. Then we implement step-by-step, broken down by major stage of infant development versus month to honor and cater to your unique child's journey. And as you do implement, you get to discover the Montessori magic for your baby, of course, but also for your experience, your family's rhythm, your environment, and everything that's around. And as you can see, the stages are broken down the same as this workshop. You will learn to prepare yourself for each stage, understand the development, prepare the environment, what materials I suggest with links and how-tos, activity ideas, fostering independence, which you now already have a great idea of how to do, and some fun bonus lessons. We also go over the Montessori feeding experience and everything that it entails, as well as addressing phases, transitions, and behavioral expressions. So we dive into things like positive redirection, limit setting with our tiniest humans, supporting babies through behavioral expressions, otherwise known as behaviors, so like hitting, biting, hair pulling, stuff like that. And there's also a bonus little module on schooling options. So this is everything that you'll be getting upon enrollment. So you'll be getting 9 modules of that invaluable information, video and audio lessons, each around 10 minutes, a Montessori observation journal and reflection activities, Montessori infant toddler language card download so you can DIY your cards as you implement Montessori at home, links to the entire Montessori baby material progression, all of the materials I suggest and how-tos. You get access to our members only Montessori Babies course Facebook group, which has an amazing parent and caregiver community from around the world, and you get direct support from me. So lots of the fellow moms will email me or message me through our group with little questions that they have as they're journeying with their baby at home. And tuition to enroll into our Montessori Babies course typically costs $252. But as an incredible parent who is already on your way supporting baby's development through Montessori and for joining this workshop on Lead Kid Academy, I'm offering you enrollment for only $97. So a total savings of $155 and 62% off the original enrollment pricing. This is genuinely the best price I have ever offered and will ever offer. So I strongly encourage you to take advantage of this really exciting promotion. So one of the parents in our course, Becky, said, I've absolutely loved this course and I've recommended to so many of my friends. The best thing I've gotten from this course is confidence. I feel so confident in how I approach parenting. I feel so much more prepared and it's made me less stressed out too. I feel I'm able to parent in a way that is gentle, thoughtful, and focusing on his developmental, emotional, and physical needs. I feel it's helped free up time for me to be so much more present with my baby. If you are undecided about whether to go for it, I say yes, go for it. It's been such a beautiful game changer for me and has made me and baby's life so much richer for it. Another reason I'm teaching this course is because we now know in baby development that the calmer and more confident you are, the more likely your baby will be those things too, because they look to us for security and regulation. So if I can do it and the thousands of parents that I've worked with can do it as well, so can you. And so your return on investment. So you will have supported your child to be an empowered, capable, peaceful, and joyful learner, setting the tone for their entire life. And you will have also transformed your own experience into an inspired, empowered, and totally peaceful parenting approach that you feel really good about during the most critical stage of their developmental journey. So, if you're ready to transform your parenting experience as you, the person you were before, beautifully evolving into this new role, as well as guiding and optimizing your baby's earliest years of development, my gift to you is that you can enroll into our Montessori Babies course community for only $97. Like I mentioned, it's the best price I will ever offer for enrollment, so definitely take advantage. You just have to click the Let's Do This link below and use code Montessori Babies at checkout to redeem your offer. So as soon as you enroll, you will get immediate access to the entire Montessori Babies course, our global Facebook community, your Montessori observation journal, reflection worksheets, infant toddler language card downloads, direct support from me, and everything else that's included in our course. If there are any questions that you have that I didn't answer in our workshop, definitely feel free to shoot me an email. My email is bianca@babytourguide.com, and I would be so happy to answer. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining our workshop today. I hope you use the fostering independence tips that I offered in today's workshop and workbook. I can't wait for you to experience the transformative, simple joys that it brings you and your baby in your beautiful home. Thanks again for watching.